You are now watching On Point, a news and public affairs show from California State University, Northridge.
Hello and welcome to On Point. I'm your host, Leah Villalpando. Today we're going to be discussing the idea behind Greek life on college campuses. We're going to understand more of what's it about, how it works, the history behind it, and what the future holds. I'm joined by two presidents of their respective organizations, Daniela Santiago, president of Delta Zeta, and Christian Reyes, president of Phi Kappa Psi. Welcome, Danny, and welcome, Christian.
Hi. Thank you.
So we're going to go ahead and get started. And first of all, I want to ask, I'll start with you, Danny. What is Greek life? Like, what does that mean?
Greek life to me is an organization, well, a community of organizations, honestly, of people that come together. They can do good for their community, have a support while they go to college. And in my case, I know that was a really big thing for me. And it provides community mostly for a lot of students off at a university.
And Christian, what does Greek life mean to you?
To me, Greek life is pretty much like a group of people coming together. They all have like the same common interests, same things that kind of connect them all together, and it gives them a place to go, place people to be with, people who like they could call like home, away from home. Gives them like a sense of community around here, and just like big campuses and everything.
So, Danny, what is the organization that you're a part of, and what does it do?
Yeah, I'm part of Delta Zeta sorority. One of our main things is basically kind of empowering young women on college campuses. One of the big things about us is that we help with our philanthropy, which is ASDC, the American Society of Deaf Children. So we raise funds for them every year to be able to provide families with deaf children with ASL lessons so the parents can learn to communicate with them. That's one of the big things they do. For me personally, I know it did provide that home away from home, as Christian was mentioning, and I really think it does help bring you a little safe space among us, like a really large campus.
Same question for you, Christian.
So my organization, more like a social fraternity on campus. So like one of our big things is networking, getting to know people, being willing to talk in front of like big audiences and stuff, getting us kind of ready for the real world in a sense where it's like we do push guys when they join to take up leadership positions in the house, so they get used to having to work with others and communicate, all striving for common goals. And within our house we have so many just like little positions and stuff you can hold. So like one, like kind of how Danny talked about, was our philanthropy position. So we have random amount of brothers participating in that, helps them set up how to like throw events, organize, get everything going, planning and everything, and it's just get us out on campus, get you feeling ready to get your voice heard. For when you're out there, you know what you want, how you want to do things, and how you want to go about them.
So here at CSUN, are there different types of organizations? So you said yours was like a social
Yeah.
fraternity, and then as I'm pretty sure that as well, it's Pan-Hellenic and
IFC.
IFC. So what are there other types of Greek life on campus?
Yeah, there's the NPHC. And there's also multicultural sororities. I know there's like few for a lot of Hispanic students, Black students as well, Asian. If that's like helps you find your niche and like your home away from home. If culture is something that's super, super important to you, they have those as well. Also like academic ones. I know there's a lot of business fraternities as well on campus.
So Christian, I'm going to start with you.
You got it.
Why did you decide to choose your fraternity instead of the other ones that were available?
Well, for me, it was more like the sense of I walked. When I joined, I was like just walking out. I didn't really know I wanted to join the frat. I was like, let me just check it out, and check some other ones out. And they were cool. Like they were cool guys. Everyone could vibe with. But it was like I could sense like I could vibe with some of you, but not like really all of you. And then when I came to Phi Psi, they didn't let me be awkward. They didn't let me be quiet because I'm very like when I joined, I was very introverted. And then the moment I got in there, they're like, "What's your name?" And they came like they showed me around the house, introducing the brothers, cracked jokes with me. Like they were trying to get to know me right off the bat, and it was like that sense of like community, that sense of brotherhood, something that's like never had brothers growing up, only like younger sisters. So like getting like know them, like getting to talk to them was like yeah, that this is a sense of brotherhood that like I could really vibe with. This is what I connected, because when I walked in, it wasn't like a group of like a bunch of frat guys like trying to like mess around, get to know that. It was like a sense of community where it's like, hey, like we're cool people. We're not just frat guys. Like we're actual people, and it's like something that like really honed me in and like really pulled me in. So I was like, yeah, these guys.
And I want to ask the same thing to you, Danny.
Yeah, so when I actually joined CSUN, I wasn't really thinking about going Greek. However, there was an event on campus, and I had already met a few of the sororities during the Meet the Clubs day that they had here. And I went on to an event on campus, and I didn't know anyone. And the president at the time, Hannah Garcia, she saw me and just kind of introduced herself again and just made sure I wasn't alone, made sure she took care of me throughout the event. It was really great, and it brought me like a sense of like, okay, like these people feel like they actually care. Let me go to one of their like open house events and go and check it out. And I met a lot of girls there who were really there for me during a lot of hard times in my life, especially going off here. I don't really have any family in the area, so knowing that there were people there who also had those same values as I did and were there when times were tough really made me want to go Delta Zeta. And it really just felt like a connection that like I can go to these girls. I didn't really have sisters growing up, and it was really helpful to have a community of women around me as well.
So how long have you both been in your groups?
I've been in Delta Zeta for about 1.5 years now.
Me, I think we're going on 4 years in Phi Psi now.
4 years?
Yeah.
So what is like the history of sororities and fraternities as a whole?
When we got founded, like when we started, it was two guys who wanted to create, our open motto is the great joy of serving others. So that's why like our fraternity started. Like they wanted to create a group of guys to bring together, like to serve the community, to help people out. And then kind of like through our nationals, like our national headquarters and everything, they never really let us forget that. They're like, you guys are fraternity, you guys are in there to have college, to have fun, but like you guys still got to help people. Like that's why we were founded. That's what you guys are still here for. That's why we continue to like give you guys so much money, give you guys so much dedication. It's like you guys can have your fun, but make sure like you're on campus helping out. Make sure you guys are joining these leadership positions throughout campus or in your community. That's kind of like they don't let us forget it, and that's I guess like history of my fraternity at least.
Yeah, in my case, there's a few pillars that we really stand on for my sorority. A few of them are friendship, generosity, being a leader, being a lifelong learner, and I think those really stuck to me. It really helps you kind of keep you focused. I know like sometimes Greek life can have a lot of things involved. We have lots of activities and lots of events that we do. And on top of being a student, maybe having work as well, it can be a lot. But I think having those like pillars are really help keep you grounded. I know for my sorority, we were founded at CSUN in 2004. So we've been here on campus for about 20 years now. And I think it's been really great that we can have those pillars to really help keep us focused.
And can you also tell me a little bit about your sweaters or what you're wearing, like the history behind them or how you even got them?
So I am wearing my sorority house letters. Basically, these are the Greek letters, Delta and Zeta. And so you receive these once you are, in my case, you get them when you're initiated and you go through your initiation process when you are considered an active member. Your big sister, which you get throughout the sorority through a big and little process, will give these to you the day that you are initiated. In our case, we gave them a plaque saying like, big sister and then little sister and with your name, and you kind of share that moment, and it's a really nice way to like welcome you in.
Christian?
Yeah, and then so in my case, my letters are more they're more personalized. So like Danny said, we do have big and littles within the fraternity, and once you get your big after our whole like new member process and everything, we have to give our bigs what's like called a paddle, and it's basically like your big's name. So in case my big Eric, little bro Christian, it's like a design, something that they can hang on their wall. And it's like for us, one thing we have in common is like the soccer team LAFC, which is their colors are black and gold. So he gave me letters for the with our letters Phi Kappa Psi, black and gold to represent the team, and then like with our family name that like we got for ourselves, and then just like some little thing just to signify like when I joined, what our family name is, who my big is, everything like that. So some just personalized to us, so we could show off our spirit for our frats.
And what is the design on the side?
Oh, so the design for mine, this is our crest. I know we have so many meanings for this, but like the 2 stars, that's for our founding fathers because there's 2 of them. The eyes, like the everything eye, always keeping a lookout. And then forgot the reason for the book, but the shield, they decided on that specific shield, I think for community sense and everything. And then just like a bunch of little other things, but yeah, it's just our national fraternity crest.
Yeah, on mine it has the side of the letters Pi and Gamma. So our chapter is the Pi Gamma chapter of Delta Zeta. So that means kind of the number of how many chapters we have around nationally.
That's super cool. That's really cool that you both have your own designs and your own like stories behind your sweaters. So now that we have a better understanding of what Greek life is, we need to investigate how people on the outside perceive it to be. We'll have more when we come back.
I tell my son, I love you every single day.
Welcome back to On Point. I'm your host, Leah Villalpando. Before the break, we learned a little bit about the history behind Greek life. But what's the perception of those who aren't involved? Our reporter Efraim Bayon went around the campus of Cal State Northridge to see what other people think about fraternities and sororities.
Fraternities and sororities have been part of the college experience in the U.S. and in around the world. But are they really necessary today? Are these strange initiation rituals and activities a thing of the past now, or do they still happen and we just don't know about them? I asked some CSUN students about what they know and what they think about these organizations.
Well, I mean, I don't know much, but just whatever I see on TV, and what I see on TV a lot is, like a lot of frat parties, a little bit of drinking here and there. They do some activities, football, soccer, whatever outdoor activities they can do. I mean, honestly, if my friends were in a sorority or a fraternity, then yeah, I think that would be pretty cool, let loose a little bit, have fun with some people who you don't really know.
I've been in a sorority before and I had a great experience. Everything was well, but I do think that some sororities go ahead and check your financials before they even see if they want to accept you. So it's a little unfair. I don't think it really goes with personality or how you are. It's more about what do your financials look like, and that's how they categorize people based on where they're going to put them. I think that students, it depends what sorority you're in. Like I said, there's some sororities that are really just there for you and really want you to strive and really want you to do well. There's some sororities who just care about the money.
I know that they have quite a few events out here just set up trying to get people to join. I've seen a couple of the houses off of campus nearby, but that's about the extent of it. Well, it's been a long time since I've been in college. However, I think there are definitely pros and cons to having an institution like that, or as far as clubs are concerned. There's good and bad. You have to kind of weigh that out to see what if the good outweighs the bad.
So what are your thoughts on the video? First initial thoughts. Danny, I'll start with you.
I think they make a lot of great points about there are being good and bad points of Greek life. I know when I first came onto campus, I was a little bit apprehensive about it just because I only knew the stereotypes and no person in my family had been in Greek life before. So I completely understand those concerns and those fears about what it entails. But I also think it's like a lot of things that you go through with college as well. You take the good with the bad as well. There are going to be ups and downs. But I think personally for me, I think they're completely right in the not knowing, and it's good that they're asking questions. And personally for me, I've been able to make a lot of good out of it. I know that historically fraternities and sororities typically only cater to those who are white or upper class, and with the concerns about financials, that's completely reasonable as well. I support myself coming to school, and I've paid my own bills, but personally for my sorority, we do payment plans and things like that available as well, and we're really big on communication. If someone's going through a hard time and you let us know, we can work something out and have a better idea of what your financial abilities are.
So can you elaborate a little bit more on the stereotype of Greek life being full of white upper class people?
Yeah, I know typically it's a very exclusive process for many people on that first glance. You go through recruitment and you see if you like the girls, and you see if you kind of connect with them. And I think for a big part of me when I've gone through recruitment is just making sure that I feel like this girl would feel like she belongs here. Would she feel like there's someone that she can look up to as a big sister, find that sense of community? I wouldn't want someone to come into something and feel like they're making a commitment to something they're not completely sure of. So I know before, it's because of the cost, it was typically those who could afford it were the only ones able to do it, and it was very exclusive before. It's also why we have the national panel in the councils and those multicultural sororities as well, so that way you can also find minorities also having that sense of community within Greek life.
Yeah, thank you for explaining that all to me. Christian, how about you? What was your reaction?
I mean, it's generally what I do hear about around campus. Just people do see the letters or do question it. They're a lot of times just asking what it's about. You guys do this, you guys do that. Danny was saying with stereotypes, a lot of times I've been questioned. It's oh, you do the stuff you've seen in the movies. Is that you guys daily? It's no, but I could see the understanding because that is what's pushed out there. Like she said, about financials. I don't necessarily agree with that. That's what we look at. Just for us, I know personally, we do make it very clear. Hey, you do got to pay to be in here. We're willing to work with you. Payment plans. We're not gonna ask you for all your money up front. It's and everything. We do wait. That was just I feel that's just common misconceptions. We just want all your money. We only want money. I think it's also just understanding like where that money goes to, because I know for us, like our money goes to like our brotherhood events. It goes to like our brotherhood retreat at the end of every semester, our date parties, our formals. Like the money you give does go back to the fraternity and sorority, and it's, I feel like, just that understanding where it's like that money isn't strictly for partying. That money isn't strictly for like doing all the like the dumb stuff you see in movies. And like they said, we're like, oh, you see us throwing events on campus, like we do it a lot for getting ourselves out there.
So how much are your, like, how much do you pay?
So for my fraternity, it's 600 semester from every brother, and it's like half of those costs go to, like, we're insured with the house every year, so it's like should something happen on our property to one of the brothers where it's like they fall or they're fixing up the house and they hurt themselves, our nationals covers like any damages to the house or any damages that happen to you while you're at the house. They pay for it and everything, and then like half of that does go to our social events throughout the whole year.
And same thing for you, Danny. How much and like where does it go?
Yeah, of course. So our dues typically start around $114 a month. And it just really depends if we have, like Christian mentioned, like date party or formal, which is like homecoming or prom. You might pay for a ticket or a ticket for a date as well. Then those costs are added onto that as well. Or let's say we have like a new sweater that we want to have for a philanthropy event. So that cost gets added as well. So it really just varies from month to month. A lot of things it goes to is like sisterhood events, and we have like sisterhood retreat at the end of the semester once everyone is initiated typically, and we might do an event at the house. One year we went to the beach and we had food and everything kind of set up, so it really kind of goes into those things. Or whenever we have little events at the house, our dues go to that as well to help benefit our sisters, since we are considered a nonprofit. All the money that we pay goes back to, for our dues, goes back to us and making sure that we're stable, and any money that we get at philanthropy events goes to our philanthropy.
So both of you mentioned stereotypes. What were the stereotypes that you had in mind when you came in, and how has it changed?
Yeah, I think one of the big things had to do with like what kind of person you were, like with personality wise. What were you interested in? I think one of the big stereotypes is that you have to be like skinny, conventionally attractive, and those were the big things. Like you had to fit a certain physical mold, I think was my big concern when going in. I wasn't sure if I would be accepted. And I think one of the beautiful things about going to Cal State Northridge is seeing the diverse amount of students on campus. And so it creates a lot of diversity within our in our sororities and our fraternities.
Now it's time to talk about something a little bit uncomfortable. When we get back, we're going to dive into the topic of hazing. Is it taking place on this very campus? Stay tuned for more.
I'm an actor in an ad reminding you that if you're high, just don't drive.
Welcome back to On Point. We've been discussing many things regarding fraternities and sororities, but now it's time to get a little more serious. So on our last topic of stereotypes, a big one is hazing. So what is hazing?
Yeah, do you want to go?
Yeah, I could go. So hazing, pretty much anything where you're forcing someone to do anything humiliating or degrading, whether that's like making them run around like fully nude or making them go steal something that could get them in trouble, something where it's like, yeah, like this is how, like, we're belittling you. Like you're gonna know, like you have to look up to us when you join, pretty much.
Yeah, and it can come in many different forms, whether it's physical, social even, and then like also emotional hazing. Anything that can be put up or made someone to feel belittled essentially is considered hazing, whether that's maybe spreading a rumor about someone or making someone drink or making them do something degrading on campus. All of it at the end of the day falls under the hazing category.
So can either of you explain to me what the history of hazing is here at CSUN?
Yes. Unfortunately, I believe in the year 2014, we did have a tragedy happen that involved hazing with a fraternity that's no longer on campus. They did a hike for their new members, and they didn't have any water. They told them to just find them, and they had to like kind of just find the rest of the active members. And unfortunately, it caused someone to pass away due to dehydration and just not being safe. And it was a very big thing on campus, and it affects us still to this day. We've been trying to make good out of that situation by having all our new members attend a seminar called Greek 101 every single semester. Every person who does join a sorority or fraternity, no matter under what council, has to join and go through Greek 101, which covers all of that, how to prevent it and how to recognize it as well. And our active members are still informed on it by going to Greek 102 every single year.
Is there any other steps that CSUN has taken to prevent hazing happening?
Yeah, if they really do catch you, there's undeniable evidence, they do kick you off campus. I know within the past, I think it was in 2020 actually, right before COVID or at the start of COVID, one of the older guys had told me, yeah, they kicked off a fraternity and a sorority. They got caught hazing, and CSUN has no tolerance for it. They just get booted off campus, and that fraternity and sorority, they're just never allowed back on here for hazing purposes.
So both of you are leaders of your organizations. How do you as a leader make sure that hazing doesn't happen under your watch?
I think a big thing is leading by example, making sure that everyone feels safe and you create a safe space where people can talk about something if they do feel unsafe ever. And I think it's also just making sure that you're making those aware of the standards that are put in place when you first join. There are things that you're told what is acceptable and what's not. I think making sure that you go back to that and rephrase it in a sense of I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but I want to keep you as safe as possible. And it's coming from a place of care at the end of the day, and I want to be here for you.
Christian?
And then, well, for us, it's more of a thing where we tell a lot of the guys, we're you're not gonna get hazed. You're never allowed to haze, because it's in order to do something, you have to have it done to you. And if you're not willing to do it, you're not gonna do it to them. And that's one thing I'm very hard on. It's we're not doing that. We're not even gonna have that rumor being spoken about us. It's that's not who we are. We're gentlemen. We joined this fraternity because we get told your guys are gonna be raised to be gentlemen and leaders, and gentlemen and leaders they don't haze, they don't degrade people around them that they consider brothers.
And this question might be a little personal, but have you ever experienced hazing, or have you ever seen it happen?
I don't think I have personally. I think it's mostly a lot of hearsay, which is, can go around about lots of people. I know I've just seen going around people going out, but it's really hard to identify it without seeing it. I think you have to be really within it and be able to look into the clues and the signs of it, which can be many different signs.
Christian?
And no, I haven't been hazed. Never really forced me to do something I didn't want to do here, and it was the thing I kind of did was yeah, I'm down for it, let's go. I'm in college, I'm only going to do it once, why not? But I do know some of my friends who go to other campuses, and I know I've heard their hazing stories. I know how they get hazed, and it's yeah, I don't experience any of that here.
It's, as long as I think you have the consent and is safe, most of the time you feel comfortable with it. It's been a good experience so far. I've never been hazed personally, which is honestly something I can say with a lot of pride about my organization. And I think it's always really important to keep an eye out for those things, because I've also heard lots of stories from other campuses saying that people have been forced to do things, and it makes you question a lot of the things that go on with Greek life.
What have you heard from other campuses?
I've heard things about making people drink and then making them go around with other people or anything like that. I've also heard of things from a different state, all hearsay at the end of the day, but it was that they were to go into a dark room and be blindfolded, but they never explained what happened after. So those are some of the more extreme cases I feel that you see and hear about, but I mean, it's not to say that it doesn't happen. There's so many organizations around the country that do these, that have Greek life organizations. And personally, I haven't seen anything or experienced it myself.
Well, thank you so much for explaining hazing and how it has affected this campus. So now that we have all this information, it's time to put it all together and see what the future holds. We'll have more on that when we get back.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
Welcome back to On Point. Now that we have a better understanding of the many aspects of Greek life, it's time that we look towards the future of where this is heading. So, where do you both think the future of Greek life is going?
Honestly, I'm really happy with the future of Greek life. And my idea is that it's going to form strong leaders in our community. I know lots of people are coming in and they have lots of ideas, and they have a way to channel it now and be able to create a lot of change. And I know we talked about the stereotypes of Greek life, and I think with those ideas and having the right kind of mindset, we can go and help change those stereotypes. The future really is what we make of it within these organizations, and we have a lot of support within our members to help create that change. So my hope is that we can help create lots of differences on this campus and help make sure that we're empowering young women to be unafraid of making those changes on in their career and in their life as well.
Christian?
I think Greek life is going to continue to grow here, especially at CSUN. I know ever since the case in 2014, 2015, CSUN, like, they've made it difficult for, like, Greek life just to stay on campus, and now, like, I finally do see, like, we do have more members joining every organization. A lot of people are more opening up, interested in it. I think it's going to continue like that on campus, because I know from I know a lot of Greek life students, they hold and held a lot of positions, whether it's, like, your NSO leaders, your AS board, like, they do hold those positions. I think it'll just continue to grow. Like, stereotypes here at CSN, at least, like, they'll start changing. Like, people will notice more and more, like, yeah, Greek life's not as bad as we do here in the movies.
And you mentioned changes, Danny. What changes or improvements do you hope happens in the future?
I think also some of the big changes is maybe like helping change that perception and the stereotype of like what a sorority girl may be or what a fraternity man may look like and what values they uphold as well. And I think it's really hard when you're looking at it from the outside to see what goes on and the kind of values that they instill. Like in your case, you said like gentlemen within your fraternity, and we hold a lot of values of belonging and leadership. And I think it's really important that we make sure that that is shown more outwardly and by leading by example.
And Christian, I have a different question for you actually. If someone asks you if they want to like join a fraternity, or you have to convince them to join or to stay away, what would you say?
Honestly, what I tell a lot of people is like, just check us out. Like, I promise you, like, you come to our house, check us out, you're gonna see like we're just different. Like, I know every frat's different in every way, but I'm like, you join us, like, we like to say we're not a group of fraternity guys. We're just like a bunch of guys who wear the letters. Like, that's what we are. That's how we describe ourselves. Like, we don't think we're the typical frat in any sense. And that's just, I think, like, that's when I tell people, I'm like, we're different. Like, we're just a random group of guys. Like, none of us should fit together, but for some reason, we all fit together. We all are just, like, a part of this one organization.
Can anyone join just for a little bit and then leave?
Yeah, so we have, what we have is what's called a new member process. So for us, it's 6 weeks. And all that 6 weeks, all we ask you to devote is $50. And that's just so we can register you on our national side. And after those 6 weeks, if you and us, we don't come to like a mutual, like, yeah, like, this is beneficial for you, it's beneficial for us type of thing, you can leave. No money owed, no extra additional fees, no like you have to do this to get out. It's like, after those 6 weeks, if this isn't for you, you could go ahead and like leave, and like we'll still be your friends. Like, I have people who joined, it didn't turn out good for them, and I'm still really good friends with them. I still see them all the time, talk to them on campus. So yeah.
My question, kind of like the previous one as well, join or stay, what would you say?
To have someone stay? Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, if you need someone to join or trying to convince them or stay away, like, what would you say?
I basically just say kind of same as him, just definitely give us a chance and get to know a lot of those sisters. I think one of the beautiful parts of Delta Zeta is that no one is alike. You know, you always have people who are interested in doing different things from each other, so you're bound to find someone that you really connect with and really look up to. I really think that making sure that even if it's just with 3 girls that you may just have the time to hang out with that day, you can definitely make a lot of friendships within that. And then make sure that you give lots of girls the chance, because maybe you don't click with someone right away. And just because you have that first impression out of like over 50 women, you get a chance to meet everyone. And I think one of the good things is like maybe you don't get along with them immediately, but I feel like you can always stop by and say hi and make sure that like you guys can check in on each other. And I think that's a really great part of our organization.
All right. Thank you so much, Danny. Thank you, Christian. You've heard it here first. According to 2 presidents, that's where the direction of Greek life is heading. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Leah Villalpando, and you've been watching On Point.